Indian officials ventured into a deep jungle, investigating several missing persons reports from a nearby city. What they found was a Tower of Silence, otherwise known as a dogma. Zoroastrians use these sites to dispose of bodies in the open air. While sites like these are not uncommon in certain parts of India, several peculiarities hint at something a little bit more unusual. None of the bodies depicted in the photograph were identified. Villagers from nearby, though initially surprised at the sheer number of corpses, proved unable to recognize the bodies at all. The corpses also do not match the depictions of the missing people. There were no animals around except for maggots and flies. Zoroastrians rely on birds, like buzzards, to dispose of the bodies in the belief that they are contributing back to the earth. Officials found the corpses relatively untouched by any sort of animal, and there is no official count of the bodies. In fact, very little work was actually accomplished at the site, and perhaps this is why only one photograph has ever emerged. Officials avoided the spot, not only because they felt uneasy looking at it, but for the following as well. The deep pit in the center of the photograph was filled with several feet of festering blood, far more than the bodies on the outside could ever supply. The stench was so unbearable that many of the officials began to get nauseous when they first approached the dogma. The expedition was ended when a villager accidentally kicked a small bone into the pit, penetrating the coagulated surface of the pool. A massive burst of gas from the decomposing blood erupted from the pit, splashing those who were looking into it along with the photographer, and those caught in the explosion were immediately sent to the hospital. While they were quarantined for possible infection, they became delirious with fever, shouting about being tainted with the blood and Ahriman, the personification of evil in Zoroastrianism, despite never having admitted having any familiarity with the religion in the first place. In fact, many of them had no idea what the dogma was when they had found it. Delirium turned to insanity as many began to attack hospital staff until they were finally sedated. The fever would eventually kill them all. And when officials returned with hazmat gear the following day, the site was empty, all the bodies removed, and astonishingly, the pool of blood in the pit completely drained. And all that remained of this incident was this photograph. A dogma, or otherwise referred to as a Tower of Silence, is a circular raised structure built by Zoroastrians for excarnation, which is the exposure of human corpses to the elements with the purpose to enable their decomposition, in order to avoid contamination of the soil and other natural elements by decomposing dead bodies. Carrion birds, usually vultures and other scavengers, consume the flesh. Skeletal remains are then gathered into a central pit where further weathering and continued breakdown occurs.
You're freaking out with that.